Hey everyone, we wanted to take a little time to give you a tour of the Investment Integration Project or TIP subscriber portal. We want to show you the great content and tools currently available on the portal to TIP subscribers. So if you're not currently a subscriber, please do get in touch with us. We'd love to show you what we have to offer. I also wanted you to know that you can skip around in this video by clicking on the chapter buttons below. If you don't see them, you should be able to click on the Show More text below to reveal those chapter buttons. As well, this on-screen message that you now see will periodically pop up, reminding you that the chapters are available for your use if you'd like. So our plan for the tour of the subscriber portal will go like this. We'll look at the two ways of logging in. We'll explore the home page, and then we'll briefly visit each of our various categories, including investor profiles. We'll have a database preview. We'll look at TIPS 2017 projects, market analysis, events, presentations, guidance, and then we'll quickly wrap up. Let's get started by understanding the two ways of logging into the subscriber portal. The first is to open your web browser and simply type in TIP's website address, which is tiiproject.com. Then simply click the login button in the top right of the screen. Alternatively, you can simply type in resources.tiiproject.com. Either method will take you to this login screen. You'll then want to just go ahead and enter your assigned login information. Now keep in mind, I'm logging in as a full access subscriber so as to show all content, but we do have different levels of subscription, so some content will not always be available to all subscribers. After successfully logging in, you'll see the main page, or essentially the home page of the subscriber portal. All the content appropriate for your level of subscription is available here. Now, as I scroll down, you'll see that the subscriber portal contains a wealth of different types of information and resources, and we think you'll find it quite easy to become familiar with and navigate once you learn a little bit more about how the information is categorized. So let's do that. The left-hand side here contains your categories, which function as your main navigation. Clicking any of these buttons filters the content in the main area so you can more easily find what you're looking for. As you can see, there's a short preview of the content associated with each post. If something looks interesting, simply click it. I'll choose our measurement project for a fuller description. I'll scroll down here a bit so you can see what this post looks like in particular. But to go back, you can simply click the back button in your browser. You can click Home, or you can click Resources, which is the method I prefer. Any of these three will take you back to the main home page. And that's really all there is to exploring the content of the portal. What I'd like to do now is spend some time looking through the various categories. So let's click on Database. Now, TIP recently released Tipping Points 2016, which is our State of the Industry report that documents the scope and variety of systems-level approaches undertaken by 50 asset owners and managers. We've made the profiles of those 50 investors available in the subscriber portal. So here they are, all 50 of them. Now let's click on one. How about Aviva? And as you can see, there's a short blurb about the investor, 2 to 4 paragraphs. Then there's a link to a PDF copy of their full profile, which opens in a new tab. Now, separate from this video, we have a training video entitled Leveraging the TIP Database, which is all about understanding how to use our database to locate useful information about asset owners and asset managers quickly. But since we're here, let me give you a sneak peek of what we'll cover in that video. So let's go back to Resources and click on Database. We'll see the first post is called TIP's Searchable Database. Clicking that takes us to this short description and a button which will take us to the database, or alternatively you can simply click Database above to go there. Once we do that, you're looking at the main page of the database, and as you can see by this count, all the investors that we've profiled thus far are included here. The database can be useful to investment stakeholders in a number of ways. For example, it can serve as a kind of matching tool to help asset owners find asset managers and vice versa. So let's explore that a little bit more. Let's say I'm an asset owner and I'm searching for asset managers that specialize in real estate. I can go over here to the left and click on Asset Manager. I can then scroll down to Asset Classes Invested in and select Real Estate. And so you can see with 2 clicks, my original list of 50 is down to 12. Now, if for some reason I was looking for asset managers headquartered in the United States, I can type in a headquarters location like this, and now I'm down to 7 managers. I can then select 2 or more, or even all 7 of these investors by clicking this box, and can then compare them across various criteria like so. Now you can select anything you like listed here, but let's choose asset classes invested in, assets under management, security selection and portfolio construction, and targeted investment programs. I then click submit and get results like so. Here are all the firm names and all the results for those criteria we selected. Now, I won't go through all of this, of course, but as you can see, there's a lot of good information here. So let's go back. Now, let's switch things up and say that I'm an asset manager and I want to better understand an asset owner's long-term objectives, or perhaps I'm trying to gain an edge in competing for an RFP. By using the database as an asset manager, I can gain insights about that particular owner, or could perhaps even identify commonalities amongst a number of asset owners. So let's look at an example of how I might do that. Let's say I'm trying to educate myself about the techniques by which pension funds are attempting to create long-term value. So I come over here to the left and click on Asset Owners. Then I select Pension Funds, and then finally long-term value creation. And as you can see, I'm down from 50 investors to 13 in just 3 clicks. And as before, I can compare them. I'm interested in knowing about these investors in a broad sense, so I select tipping points, which provides some high-level insights about the asset owners. I'm also interested in this overview and some details about security selection, targeted investment programs, and most definitely manager selection. And now, once again, I click submit, and look at this. There's a lot of great information for me to review that can help me with my objective of learning about how these 7 pension funds create long-term value. So to start a new search, all I have to do is simply click database, and I can begin again. So to recap, whether you're an asset owner, manager, or investment stakeholder, the database allows you to find useful information quickly. You could spend hours or days scouring the web and other resources to find this information, or you can click a few buttons in TIIP's database and distill useful, standardized information in seconds. Another thing to remember too is that new investors will be continuously added to the database over time, and that existing information will be regularly updated. Okay, let's go back to the main page of the subscription portal by clicking resources at the top, and let's continue exploring these categories. 2017 projects. These are TIIP's upcoming projects for this year. We have some interesting ones around intentionality, measurement, and best practices. The State of the Industry is an update on the 50 investors we profiled in 2016. Plus, we'll be exploring more investors and their systems level approaches in 2017. Under market analysis, we have TIIP generated reports, including our State of the Industry analysis for 2016, as well as our foundational report, which lays out the rationale for systems level thinking in investment. Under the category of events, we have several upcoming with descriptions about each. Our Accelerating Intentionality Management, or AIM project, will have a convening in April. And by clicking this post, you can learn more about the event and project, as well as find contact details for attending and sponsorship if that is of interest to you or your organization. Let me also say that this information is subject to change, of course, but all changes will be reflected here in the subscriber portal. As well, we have links to past events here and have included links to associated materials for them, including event summaries. For example, here are some materials from the July convening. Again, the information opens up in a new tab when you click it, and here's what that looks like. So let's go back. Under presentations, we have some really useful material. For example, our Tipping Points webinar discusses the major findings of our State of the Industry analysis. And then lastly, we have these 3 guidance categories. These materials are meant to help investors learn about, develop, and implement systems and systems-related investment strategies. So let's take a closer look. One of the major takeaways from our 2016 State of the Industry analysis is that investors are using various approaches to bridge the gap between daily portfolio management decision making and systems level investing. Across 50 profiles, TIIP identified 10 commonalities or themes in those approaches, and TIIP has named these the 10 tools of intentionality. Now, investors use these tools intentionally because the portfolio level discipline of efficiency would not lead them to do so otherwise. So, the 10 tools are defined here. If one of these looks interesting, simply click on it. I'll go back up and choose this first one, additionality. And for each of the tools, we provide the definition, the goal, the investors using the tool, and the methods by which they're using it. And let me also mention that much of the information included here and elsewhere on the portal comes from our profiling work with investors, which includes desk research, surveys, and interviews, as well as publicly available sources, all of which is interpreted through our framework of analysis. So, whether it's for additionality or any of the 10 tools, or really anything else on the portal for that matter, our hope in creating this guidance is that investors can glean practical information from their peers about developing and implementing systems level investment strategies. Okay, let's go back to guidance. And by the way, of course, I can always click directly on any of the 10 tools, which would be quicker if you know what you're looking for. Let's take a look at the next guidance category, investment activities. So, if I'm an investor and I want to put into place or fortify my systems and systems related strategy, I might want to look through this section as well. The strategy I employ as an investor could very well be comprised of these investment activities, including investment belief statements, security selection and portfolio construction, targeted investment programs, corporate engagement, and manager selection. And similar to the guidance around intentionality that we just reviewed, we have a post here that provides an overview of these investment activities. And as you can see, each of these activities is described in more detail. Simply click one to learn more about it. So how about we find out more about security selection and portfolio construction? So how are investors that TIIP profile typically carrying out security selection and portfolio construction vis-a-vis systems level strategies? Well, those approaches are generally described here. Below that, we find implementation insights and tools. And these are useful resources that TIIP is curated to assist investors in these activities, in this case, security selection and portfolio construction. So here's a great handbook from Boston College. Here's a guide from Focusing Capital on the Long Term, and so on. At the bottom here and included in each activity is a sample comparison that we ran from TIIP's database. In other words, as a TIIP subscriber, you can compare any of the investors that we profiled across different criteria, including this one, security selection and portfolio construction. And we previously gave you a sneak peek of the database, and I'm putting a link on the screen which will take you back to that preview if you like. Here, though, we ran a comparison between PFA Pension and the Church Commissioners for England, both asset owners. And clicking on this link will open the comparison that we ran in a new tab, and here's what that looks like. Remember, as a subscriber, you can compare any number of investors across any number of criteria. Okay, let's go back to the main page. The last category is guidance, other tools. These are additional tools and guides that we will continue to curate. Here's one on climate change, and as you can see here, we've broken out the table of contents for these documents so that you can quickly see what's inside of them. The series Investor Blueprint provides a set of 10 action steps that will move investors along a path toward becoming sustainable investors. And with that, we've reached the end of our tour. So in this video, we've introduced you to the TIIP subscriber portal by showing you its layout, main categories, and some very, very limited content. We've also demonstrated how our database can be used effectively to quickly locate and learn about investors matching certain criteria. And as I've said a couple times already, whether it's our database, market analysis, events, presentations, or guidance, the material we provide on the subscription portal is meant to be utilized by investors as they learn about, develop, or strengthen a systems level investment strategy. So please check out our additional training videos which explore the portal more fully, including our Leveraging the TIIP database video, which provides more detail about how to best utilize that tool. As well, we're always happy to conduct live demonstrations of the TIIP subscription portal and database. So we look forward to being in touch with you real soon. Bye-bye for now.